More about the ANC's January 8 statement. We're joined by Professor Andre Duvenhage from the Northwest University. Prof, a very good evening to you. Thanks for joining us and a warm welcome to the late edition.
Good evening. Nice talking to you.
Thank you so much for joining us now, Prof. Now, the ANC special NEC meeting comes just days before the January 8 celebrations. Just how much of this meeting was about organizational readiness and how much of it was about managing political optics, both locally and international?
Well, I think both cases. There's no doubt that the ANC as an organization is in trouble at the moment. And they are facing major challenges on a number of levels. That is politically, in terms of their ideology, their implementation, their support base, but also internationally. The world has changed internationally in a fundamental way. And we have seen a lot of that over the last 2 weeks. It's clear that Russia is no more a superpower. Where it's clear China has major economic and demographic challenges. Where Iran is facing a revolution that is comparable to what we have seen in 1979. In that sense, the ANC need to reposition itself. And unfortunately, until now, the ANC find it difficult to adapt to a changing environment, both internally, where they are losing a lot of support, and externally, where they are in a lot of conflict, specifically with major economic role players like the United States of America.
And we heard the ANC say that it deliberately chose not to issue an earlier statement on Venezuela. Now, Prof, in politics, you and I know that silence is rarely neutral. So what message did that silence send and to whom?
Well, my take on it was that the ANC will align on the Venezuela case with countries like China, Iran, and its traditional allies. But what I have seen in the previous interview is a bit of tuning down the sharp edges of this argument. Maybe the president has listened to what happened in the past and believed that they cannot just take on the United States. There are major economic and financial risks. But we need to wait and see what is the final reaction. It is definitely not going to be pro-America, that I can assure you. But the fact of the matter is, maybe it won't be as radical as some people would like to see.
But at its core, Prof, is the ANC's Venezuela stance driven by principle or just political posturing ahead of key internal and electoral milestones?
Well, in the past, the ANC's reaction on these type of issues was driven by their major ideology, influenced by the national democratic revolution idea, transformation, both nationally and internationally. And I think that was also a big part of the problem with regard to the United States and other countries. My take on the situation is that the ANC should rather follow a more pragmatic approach and a non-aligned approach where South Africa can benefit in terms of multilateralism. And at the moment, I am not seeing multilateralism on the side of the ANC. I'm rather seeing an alignment with the allies I referred to earlier. But hopefully this can change in the future and take us to a better point in terms of better international relations with key economic role players.
Yeah, sure. This is no doubt a very significant moment for South Africa's foreign policy credibility. I mean, what does this stance for South Africa mean for the country's credibility as a neutral broker in international conflicts? Could this position perhaps strain South Africa's already delicate relationship with the United States, particularly given the trade, the investment and AGOA considerations?
I have no doubt that this can and will have a serious implication on the relationship with the United States of America. We know that there's currently legislation in process within the two houses of the legislature, the relationship between the United States of America and South Africa. And the indications are clear that the United States of America is taking a stronger and tougher stance against South Africa. And to me, it's clear that we need to assess this process carefully. Our economy cannot afford to be sidelined with regard to the AGOA agreement. We need to get investment into South Africa. And in that sense, we need to create an environment that will make it positive for people to invest in South Africa in order to create economic growth and to address the unemployment rate of more than 30%.
Now, Prof, thank you so much for joining us and sharing your thoughts with us. We appreciate your time.
Thank you very much.
All right, that was Professor Andre Duvenhage from the Northwest University, just unpacking the ANC's positioning following its special NEC meeting in preparation for its January 8 celebrations this coming weekend.